Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book. I am here joined with the infamous, ready to love Rashid, and we're gonna have a conversation about Ready to Love. We're gonna talk about some real stuff, more about the experience of the show, some of the more critical points that you guys like to talk about. I know a lot of you guys had questions for him. A lot of you were asking about the Nia situation, the couch thing. A lot of you guys were asking about the Denise situation. Some of you were asking about the Adriana thing, the ghosting thing. Listen, we're going to talk about all of them kind of stuff. We're also going to try and get to know Rashid as well a bit more. You know what I mean? Because I'm interested to find out who Rashid is beyond just the show, and have a real in-depth conversation, man to man. And I hope you guys are ready to have that kind of conversation. So, Rashid, how you doing today, man?
What's up, man? I'm good. How you doing, my brother?
I'm good, bro. I gotta say the shades are the glasses are a level.
A level.
A level.
I'm still in that level.
Yeah.
It
means that it's good. It's good. You know what I'm saying? When you say level, it means you're up in the levels. It means you're doing bits.
I'm already. We're not even 2 minutes in. I'm taking that one, bro.
Steal it, bro. Steal it. I guess obviously I want to.
I appreciate it. I'm excited, man. I'm looking forward to it.
No, we appreciate that, man, bro. And I want to say also thank you as well for responding to that request as well. Like, coming on here, it's an honor for me as well, because I watch the show as a fan as well as a reviewer. So getting to sit down, have a one-to-one conversation with you is big, man. So I appreciate you for that, bro.
Yeah, thank you, man. Likewise, for sure.
No worries, bro. So I want to kick it off by asking my question that I normally ask: who is Rashid, and what is Rashid all about? What does the audience need to know about Rashid?
Man, I'm just a humble dude, man. Just born and raised in Houston, Texas, man. This is my home, bro. So to be able to be on this show and kind of represent Houston and kind of show that, some people have never been here in Texas. They all think we're just riding cows and living in pastures and all that kind of stuff. But man, like I said, born and raised here, man. Raised by a single mom.
Wow.
My parents divorced at a very early age, and I kind of told a story, I think, last week.
Yes.
And I think, a lot of trauma that kids go through. People get divorced, and I was really, like most dads, I really looked up to my dad, and and when that happened, I think I kind of internalized that, so that kind of led to some of my later development, reading wise, which I talked about on the show. But having a strong, like, determined Black queen raised me, bro. She wasn't taking no for an answer, man. So, man, you know what? My mom ran me all over this city, getting me tutoring lessons, getting me extra, help and advice, man. And it took off, and when the light finally came on, I was able to, catch up academically, man. And then just from there, I was always an athlete. I played sports, played basketball in high school, and fortunately got a basketball scholarship to play at Alabama A&M University. Go Bulldogs! I played Division I basketball.
Cheers.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. And then, like, my dad was still in my life. My dad did pass at an early age, 57.
Yeah.
He's young, but I'm valuable for the time that I did have with him. Some people have that kind of time with their dads. So with that, that kind of led to how I raised my son now. Unfortunately, I did get a divorce, but going into it, I wanted to break those cycles. Fortunately, I wasn't able to stay married, but my son, he doesn't. He's treated like almost if I spend as much time with him as someone could that doesn't live in a household. So I'm very proud of that. So that's kind of what I've been moving forward to as I was growing older. Be a husband, be a dad, and kind of live that life, man. That's important to me. So other than that, man, I've lived a couple places and moved back to Houston and kind of, I was actually this is going to be breaking news. Nobody knows. And I've always been an entrepreneur. I lived in Atlanta for a little bit with a couple of friends of mine. We were starting a magazine. That didn't work out. I came back to Houston, and actually I was a school teacher, bro.
Whoa.
I was a school teacher, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I was in education because I got my degree in kinesiology and education.
Wait, what's kinesiology?
That's the study of the motion of the body, human body. So yeah, and but before that, let's rewind. I actually graduated college and was playing basketball and wanted to try to play overseas, but that didn't work out. So then I got into chiropractic college. I was going to school to be a chiropractor. That's what the kinesiology.
Yeah.
in, right? And then that's when my father died. So that kind of flipped me. Then I moved and started the entrepreneurship. That didn't work. Then came back to Houston, became a school teacher, man. And
What did you teach?
Yeah, I taught credit recovery and education. Yeah.
Oh, wait. They have a class where a teacher teaches credit recovery.
Right. Not how you think it is.
Oh.
Not like credit, like your credit score, your beacon score. It's like credit that people lost and recover, so they need to graduate. So it's like a computer-based course that I was teaching those kids. So I would have some of the rough kids that, walking around at school, or some girls maybe unfortunately got pregnant and they had to leave. They need to catch up with their class so they could graduate. So I did that in physical education. Then I also coached basketball. I was a head high school basketball coach. I coached basketball in college as well. So I did that up until 2013 when my son was born. And then I was like, yo, I need to try to make some money, man. Everybody knows how people don't make any money. So I got in the car business in 2013, man, and I've been doing it ever since.
Wow.
That's a
summarized
version.
I like that. I want to even start. I'm gonna use Symone's words. I'm gonna go deep. You spoke quite candidly about your father and your experience with your father. I guess I wanted to kind of touch it a bit there. I mean, what was your experience in the time that you had with your father? What was that like? Can you explain a little bit more about your experience there?
Man,
and what you learned?
I'm my mother and father's only child.
Okay.
My father, I have a brother and sister from my father's previous marriage, but I was the baby, so I was the apple of my dad's eye, man. And it's just funny. I miss those calls. Like, he would call me, especially in high school. I was playing basketball. He'd call me at 5:30 in the morning. Like, why you not up? Why you not running? Why you not running around the block? Why you not doing your push-ups? Why you not, getting 150 sit-ups in? Like, he was that guy, and he always preached the next level. He always put in my mind that I could do whatever I want. He always talked about having something of our own, starting a family business, the Floyd brand, which my last name is Floyd, and push that and have something for us and a legacy. And my dad went to the Army. He had a high school education, and and worked a blue collar worker at the Port of Houston in Houston for 30 years. So he got it out the mud, man, and he just instilled in me hard work ethic, man, and always be a good man, and be your word is your bond, and always stand on your manhood and your word, because that's all you have at the end of the day. So, man, it was huge. The time I had with him was great. And I just pour that same stuff into my son, man. Every time I'm with him, before he gets out the car to go to school, I'm telling you, you're a genius. Believe it. Go be great. Go be better today than you were yesterday. Mommy and daddy believes in you. Your grandparents believe in you. Because these kids, they need to hear that. And the sooner the better. So my dad was huge. I wish that he was here, because I often laugh, because him and my mom, before he passed, they had kind of got cool again, where they could talk. But now he never got to see my son. You know what? He didn't get to see me graduate from college. And, that was big. He would always call me doctor. Why you call me a doctor? I'm not going to school. He said, you're a doctor to me, son, because you're the first in our family to graduate from college. So he didn't get to see my son. And I could see him and my mom right now fighting to have my son. Like, not literally, but I could see them arguing, all just fighting, just because they wanted one time with him. Yeah, I wish I could see that. He was here to see my son and to see the interaction with them tug of war over their grandbaby.
I love that. That. And I guess, obviously, yourself being a son at that time, how important is it now, even the impact of the words of your father? How important that was for you?
It's huge. I take those jewels, man. Like I said, some people didn't even have a father, know a father, or father died when they were infants. So obviously, for selfish reasons, I would love to still have him here. But the time that I had with him, man, is monumental. So, just as you get older, stuff when you were younger, you never thought that you would say or be doing and sounding like your parents. And now that I have a son, I'm sounding like him, doing the same stuff. My son's in the basketball. If you follow my Instagram, man, I'm always posting my son our workouts, and he loves it, and I'm just as hard on him. So it's pretty cool.
I appreciate that. And obviously, you being a father yourself as well now, what would you say is one of the most important? I think you mentioned a little bit as well previously. what would you say is one of the most important things that you install in your son?
Man, just to believe in yourself.
Mm.
Believe in yourself, bro. Because that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest hurdle. Like for us to step out on faith, it takes inner faith, you know. And you know, I my belief in God, but not everybody has those beliefs. But I believe in God, and I believe in myself. And it takes a lot, man, to step out on faith, to trust yourself. So, like I said, every day, my son, before he gets out the car, I tell him, believe in yourself. I believe in you. Believe in anything you can do. So I think that's the number one thing I implore and just try to pound in him. Hey, I believe in you, so believe in yourself, brother. So that's about it. Uh-oh, what happened?
You getting them call messages, boy.
How do I turn that off? we still rolling. Let's roll. My bad.
You're still good, bro. Don't worry, you're still good.
No, you're small. Okay.
Oh, is it? Okay, no worries. Okay, that's cool. I mean, I appreciate. I think that's so important as well as a son. I think it's so important to have, you know, your father figure in your life that can, you know, embed those words of comfort and those words of encouragement, because as you get older, they become either hindrances or things that help you push further past, you know, the barriers and the walls that you encounter in life. You also mentioned as well about the overcoming, you know, at the beginning of, you know, when you're younger, you spoke to Symone in the scene, you were saying that you had to overcome, you know, a difficult start to life. I mean, can you tell us a bit more about that as well?
Yeah, man, just I was always bright. I was a smart kid, and just had a delay with my reading. And kind of go back and try to see where that came from. Maybe that had something to do right around those fundamental years when my parents was going through the divorce. And you know, my mom kind of beats herself up about it, especially back then. But you know, it just, you know how you have a skill and you lose something or a sense. So like a blind person can hear better.
Yeah.
Someone deaf, their sense of level of taste is better. So at the time when I had that struggle, I learned how to speak well. I learned different a different vocabulary to. At that point, I was trying to make myself sound smarter to cover up the deficiencies. But then when my reading and everything caught up, and then it was gone from there. It was just like one of those things. But it just took the time. And if I didn't have my mom to force me to do that, man, I don't know where I would be. So with that, man, and then just academics after that came easy to me. And the light started clicking. The light came on like in middle school when I finally caught up to where I needed to be. And then from that point, man, like I said, I went to college and graduated with honors. And of all things, I got my degree in education. Like, that's crazy. Right?
You were destined.
I think I told Symone that, but they didn't put that part in. But all those teachers,
they don't make it.
My mom wished she could go back and find all those teachers, because the teachers told my mom that I would have to learn a trade and go to trade school. You know, they didn't know what to do with black boys at that point anyway, because they try to put you in special, try to put you on ADHD medicine or Ritalin at the time, because I'm old.
Ritalin, boy, that is, yeah.
My mom was like, nah, he ain't doing that. All he needs is a belt to his ass, and we're gonna get him a tutor and he'll be fine. Because I was always the talker, I was always the class clown, you know, and then you know, so that's just how I got to where I'm at now, man. Just hard work and dedication. It paid off, and a strong mom and a strong family and a praying family.
I love that. And obviously then I guess those skills that you had utilized obviously now flow into you starting the business in terms of, I know the audience want to talk about luxury cars. Yeah. That's Symone why I need her, bruv. She was like, luxury cars? She was like, hey.
Yeah, that's so funny, man.
Tell us a bit more about that.
So funny, man. If anybody's on here, like, I don't take myself too serious, so I laugh at a lot of the comments, but
yeah,
it's so funny. It's like, this Negro talking about himself, man, why don't you just say you're a car salesman? Or what luxury car? Like, it's so funny, but that's what I specialize in. Like, sorry. But no, it's funny because I got into the business. I worked for Cadillac, and I started selling cars in 2013. So I was already in that luxury sector, right? Okay. And then I moved up in Cadillac really quickly, man. My first full year in Cadillac, I was the #1 Cadillac salesperson in the country. Wow. And then after that, then you start getting promoted. Then I started learning. Then I was a finance manager. Then I was a sales manager and things like that. And then when you start building up this clientele, not only people that bought Cadillacs from me, they would call me because they trust me. They would ask me about other cars or my advice, or what do I think about this car and that car. And then I was like, wait a minute. Then the light bulb went off. Now I've had my apprenticeship, and that's always important. When people kind of ask me how you get started in the car business, just had a guy who DM'd me the other day asking me how do you get into the luxury cars or exotic cars. And, you know, it looks good, it looks flashy, it looks fun, but it took the work to get there. Nobody knows the work to get there. It's like if you're a real estate agent, everybody wants to sell $1 million homes, but what about those $100,000 homes, those $150,000 homes you got to start with? So with that being said, I learned the business. I had my apprenticeship at Cadillac. So then I took my knowledge from knowing the front end and the back end of the business, and then the people that I knew, my network, and I'm from Houston. I played sports here. You know, I used to promote parties here. So I knew a lot of people, you know, that I grew up with. So just reaching out to them, and I broker their cars, selling cars, and just kind of happened organically. Then I started specializing in it because, you know, I specialize in that. Now I sell everything. I'm not to whereas, oh, I can't sell you that because no, but I specialize in it. Like if you're a doctor, you go to medical school. Okay, you're going to specialize in your cardiovascular doctor, you're an anesthesiologist, you're a podiatrist, you're an OBGYN, you specialize. So I sell cars, but I specialize in luxury, high-end exotics.
Love that. What would you say? Okay, what would you say is your favorite exotic car? Right
now, that I can fit in because I'm 6'6". So
you're 6'6".
Yeah, I'm 6'6". Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Ladies, just to let you know, ladies, he's 6'6", ladies. He's 6'6".
So
just gonna put it out there.
Yeah, that's funny. I love the Wraith, the Rolls-Royce Wraith. That's my car. I love that car. What's really hot right now is the Lamborghini Urus, the Lamborghini SUV. Ooh. Like those, like crazily enough, I mean, they're over $200,000, but you can't, like, they're selling like hotcakes, bro. It's crazy. Like, especially with this market, people don't like the pandemic. And I did a review on the pandemic on my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
About should you or should you not buy a car during the pandemic? So that's a shameless plug right there. Y'all check out my YouTube.
That's fine. That's right. Plug it, bro.
Yeah. Car Gods on YouTube. Car God. Car Gods. But I actually tell people, I give people advice on should you buy a car during the pandemic or not. And it's actually a seller's market. So there's not a whole lot of inventory because production slowed down because a lot of plants shut down because of COVID. What happens is that raises the price up of cars and it shortens the inventory. So yeah, those cars are like hard to keep in inventory right now for everybody across the country.
I guess that actually leads me to a question. Obviously, you know, because we're talking about £200,000 for a car and that. People are gonna want to know, sir, are men supposed to pay all the bills? I just heard money in it. I just want to ask that question. Do we pay all the bills, or do we pay some of the bills, or do we do 50-50? What is your take? I know it's a jump, but
I'm not following that trap, man. No, I'm just messing with you. I'm messing with you. No, I don't mind. Like I said, like I'm a traditionalist.
Yeah.
You know, I believe in paying for and man being the breadwinner, the provider, the protector. But at the same time, it depends on the lady that you're with. And I think that's what Chris was trying to articulate. It just came out a little wrong. And Chris is my guy. But it depends, because some people, it depends on what works for you. Because you know, some people believe in one big large bank account, right? If that's the case, if one big large bank account, you're paying stuff, then actually you're basically paying. If it's all going in one might make more than the other, but you're pulling from one. And then some people divvy it up. But you know, I definitely believe in paying for, you know, for the majority of stuff and just being that man. But at the same time, it depends on what the woman wants, because I have no problem with a confident woman and a woman who makes money and makes her own. But for me, I would like for her to use that money for her stuff. You know what I'm saying? And then I'll take care of the big stuff like that. You know?
So let me ask a question. Is that because you earn enough to be able to do that? Because I've got a stat here. I went to do research and I went to research American, obviously, income as a household in 2019. And I want to just put this out to everybody else. Okay. This stat comes from, I think it was a stats, something, whatever, for the US. And so the average income for a 35 to 44-year-old in the USFA 2019 is £57,000. 45 to 54 is only £59,000.
Right.
Okay, so that's the average male, right? If you go above that, then you are above average. So is that so? Obviously, when we took, I'm only asking this because obviously that conversation was quite a sticky one, and obviously talking about finances, talking about relationships, talking about marriage and all that kind of stuff. Are you able to do the paying for everything because you potentially would earn enough to be able to do that? Because would it be a different conversation if you didn't earn enough to facilitate that?
Yeah, definitely. Now I've always you have to act your wage for sure, but you have to live amongst your means, and that was difficult for me to learn. You know, because I'm nowhere near perfect, and like I said before I got in the car business, I was a school teacher, and we all know the lack of pay from school teachers. And my wife made way more money than me.
Wow.
My ex-wife owned her own business, and she makes great money. But I've always been a hustler. So, excuse me, like I said, how I started using my network in Houston, because I used to promote parties. So I used to make, as a school teacher, I got the summers off. So I'm throwing parties, I'm promoting parties, and I'm making that extra money. So it's always, you got a little side hustle. You got to get your hustle on to get it done. And then I started my clothing line. That was bubbling back then as well.
Plug.
Because I had the time. You know what I'm saying?
Is that what you're wearing right now?
Yeah, I'm wearing right now.
What's it called? Let me plug it.
Yeah, it's called Nelson Barquet. Nelson Barquet. That's actually my grandfather's name. So I've seen some people kind of reach out and ask me, am I associated with the brand? Yes, it's my brand. I started the brand in 2009. It's my grandfather's name who passed away. That was my ultimate hero. That's my mother's father. Yeah, it is Creole. It's pronounced Barquet, but people call it Balka. That's fine. But I have men's and women's clothing. I've been doing it since 2009.
Wow.
But you know, time and space and you know, children and marriage, you know, it's kind of come and gone. It's always been there. And just when I think about, like, man, it's kind of run its course, I'll be out somewhere and people say, man, you're named Nelson, right? I was like, no, but yeah. Like, so people still recognize it, especially in the city. And I was pretty big in Atlanta for a while, a few years ago, and I've just kind of resurfaced it in the last couple of years. So it's always, it'll never go anywhere because, again, I'm all about family. And you know, when I see other people wearing my grandfather's name, it's pretty dope. So if you go to nelsonbarquet.com, you'll read the story about my grandfather in my bio and kind of tell you where I started the company. It's NELSONBALKA.com.
Love that. I guess I'm going to ask one last question before we get into nitty-gritties, because I know the audience are bailing for blood. But let me ask one last question. Obviously, you had to be on the show, and you're away from your son as well. What would you say were the difficulties of having to be away from your son for that period of time? Because it was quite a few weeks away, isn't it? He was away, isolated.
Yeah, we were away for a while, man. And I've never been away from my son more than a week, man. So that was the most difficult thing for me to overcome. Like the business stuff, yeah, you know, that was an adjustment, but most is my son. That was difficult, and being isolated in that bubble environment, which was difficult. But after so long, you kind of got used to it, and you kind of became your normal. And we did have communication to the world. Now it was we had certain windows to use it though, because we're all production, we're all filming, so they would only give us a certain amount of time to use our devices. And most of that, I'm running to the phone and try to FaceTime my son. And I'd send a couple business emails, but just kind of FaceTime him. But it all worked out. It, you know, and when you're in that space, it seems like it's forever, but things, it was just a blink of an eye in time.
I hear that. So, about your experience on the show, okay? I just want to jump straight into it. I'm gonna start with Adriana, okay? Because there's a lot to talk about. So I'm gonna start with Adriana. Obviously, I had Adriana on here, I think last week, and we discussed the ghosting situation. I want to know we want to know your perspective as to what happened. Like, in all honesty, what was your perspective in terms of the situation, in terms of the ghosting, if you want to call it that?
Man, it's so funny. So I had known Adriana for a while, just in general, just around town, because she's pretty social here as well. And after I got divorced, everybody wants to just jump back out there on the dating scene. This how you get over a divorce, which is not true, by the way. So I saw her out and I was like, hey, actually, she was going to buy a car for me, right?
Okay.
And because we've always been friendly, just never crossed that line. It's always like, hey, yo, what up? Because I would just see her because I used to promote parties and she used to bartend from time to time. So it's like, yo, what up? Keep it moving. And she knew I sold cars. So, and then when I got divorced, and then I was like, well, start dating again. Let me see, hey, and I asked her out, and I didn't know at the time that she had just got out of something. Well, I take that back. I did know that because she told me. So then we have a little nice little date. We meet each other at a little restaurant. We having conversations, cool, but it wasn't any real like sparks, like real chemistry. I think I know I wasn't ready. And talking to her after the fact, she wasn't. And after that, we mutually didn't call each other. It was mutual. Like I didn't pursue her, she didn't pursue me. But it was no issue, just no nothing. And then I saw her a couple months later. And like, yo, what up, friend? We just kind of joked, and we kind of joked about it. She's like, we were like, man, that date was awkward, wasn't it? Awkward because it just wasn't timing. I was like, yeah, I just got something. And then that's why I was so excited to see her
again
at the thing, because now I had done the work. I was ready, and she was ready. So that's why I was like, okay, that other one was just like, that was practice round. Now we're both, let's see if it's really can be something. So, that's why I was so excited to see her, because we mutually ghosted each other. But I didn't say those words, and, it just kind of went from there. So what did she say?
I'm trying to remember what she actually said. She didn't say it was, she said she described it as it wasn't necessarily ghosting. Because she basically explained what you kind of explained. So you guys have pretty much got the same story. Because she said it wasn't a ghosting thing. She did not ghost you, but that was the word that she used when she was on the show, and obviously that's what got used. But she didn't describe it as ghosting. So
right, for sure. And she's not even like that. She's not gonna. It's just this is how it was perceived, and then boom, it just took off from there. But it's all good. I'm not upset by it. It's and it is what it is.
I understand that. Obviously coming onto resort, seeing Adriana's there on the show. You guys are kicking it, you know what I'm saying? And then obviously, now competition comes in. So now you've gone from obviously seeing her being happy, and then now you're realizing you got competition on the show. One of them called Kyle Farney.
Yeah.
I want to ask a genuine question. As a man to man, like, describe to me take me through the thought process of when you're having to date someone that you like and then seeing them go on a date or even kiss someone else. What runs through your mind?
It's a little weird. Obviously, not a little weird. It's a lot of weird. But you got used to it toward the end, because nothing any of us have ever done like this. Because I'll go on a date with Adriana, and then we'll come back and we're in the commons area, and I'm sitting next to a girl I'm about to go out on a date with in 10 minutes. And she's about to go on a date with Kelfani, and then, I'm about to go out with Alex, and we're just all around each other. We're kissing each other in front of Alex and Brian, and then I've got a date with Alex. It was just it was difficult. It was weird to see it. And then you realize, hey, it is what it is. And then you just kind of didn't want to lock into one person and be open to the process. So when me and Adriana talked all the time, I was like, hey, go out there, do your thing, get to know these guys. I'm not a jealous person. And I'm going to do the same. And I'm glad they finally started showing that I was dating other women. This was going out through the whole process. But I think the way that they played the storyline has been great. But it's a little difficult, but I didn't feel like upset or jealous by it, because I knew what I signed up for. And that's not my nature anyway, because I believe in me. Like, I'm confident in that I'm going to leave enough of an imprint on you that it's going to be sustainable. And if not, then we're going to be together. Boom. You can't win every day. So that's how I look at it. I'm a super competitor, but I don't know anybody that's undefeated.
I hear that. And I think it was obviously interesting watching you guys interact. And I think, you know, just seeing how yourself and Adriana get on. I think we all saw the connection that you guys had. And I guess obviously to kind of put it in the what for you, obviously, because obviously I'm going to talk about Denise now. So obviously, when obviously Adriana comes to you at the pool, I asked this to Adriana as well. When you get this news, Adriana's come to you to dispense some news to you about what happened in a tavern. What are your immediate thoughts to hearing yourself being labeled as a narcissist?
I was like, what? Are you joking? Like that, like what you saw was genuine. That was real. Like narcissist. Because one, I was like, I've never heard my name associated with that. And two, I was like, we haven't even spent more than 5 minutes together. Like, what? And then because I said, because if you remember, Adriana asked me like, what's up with you and Adriana?
Denise.
It's been real light. It was true. You know, obviously the whole bug in the drink thing, that's when we first met. And that
I'm gonna ask you about that. Don't worry. We're gonna ask you about that.
Maybe about 15 minutes. Then after that, I really didn't talk to her again, just in general passing. So then after that, I just thought we was just cool. And yeah, it was really, really shocking. And that was a genuine response of mine. I couldn't believe it because I never heard that before. So, you know, imagine you hearing that when, you know, that's something that you've never been told. So yeah, that kind of threw me for a loop, man. I was speechless for real.
Did you feel more closer to Adriana knowing that she was willing to bring this information to you? Because, you know, like she didn't have to, but the fact that she did do that, I mean, did that make you feel a bit more closer to her? Did you feel like you had more loyalty to her? Like, I mean, what was your kind of feelings towards Adriana after she brought that information to you?
Oh, I don't know. I definitely had a stronger bond with her and feeling about her for doing that. Yeah, it was definitely because any guy wants a girl that likes him or feels him, whether romantically or not, like to have it back when they feel that your character has been misrepresented. So and to, you know, and then, you know, in Adriana's defense, you know, she felt that wasn't an accurate depiction of me. That's why she wasn't talking about it. But some other ladies came and told me about it as well. That's not the friend of mine that I had on the show. Like, or they co-signed it, and it was like, yeah. Even in Tommy's lounge, they was like, I don't get that vibe. I don't get that. So it wasn't just Adriana who said that they didn't get that vibe.
Well, you're gonna have to repeat that again so they heard it in the back.
Right.
So Adriana wasn't the only one who co-signed the fact that they didn't believe that you were a narcissist.
No, yeah, it was. Let me see. It was Alex and Symone.
That makes sense.
And maybe some other ladies said it. Like nobody jumped on that when she said that. Like everybody was like, "Nah, I don't see that." So yeah, it was other ladies. So that would have gotten back to me eventually anyway, because I was friendly and had good relationships with everybody, pretty much everybody that was in that circle at the time, because you know, she said it in front of those women. So at that time we had everybody was there, like 10 women was there.
This makes a lot of sense, because obviously the audience was getting on like, she's messy, and I was like, bruh, to be honest, I mean, if I like somebody, I'm gonna tell them the truth, like, yo, my G.
Yeah. And what I say about that, it would have got back to me anyway. Okay, that's a lot of water.
Yeah, listen, I'm doing the same thing, bro. So obviously then the situation where Adriana speaks to Denise and then comes to tell you what she said as well. I mean, when you heard obviously that Denise had an experience in the past as to what contributes towards her feelings now, how did you take that? Because I know you spoke about it a little bit on the show, but did that change your perspective, or did that make you still feel like, well, you know, no matter what happened to you in the past, don't think you should label me as a narcissist? How did you take that information when you heard about Denise's background?
I definitely felt for Denise. I definitely had sympathy and empathy for her in her situation, because, you know, that's difficult and that's hard to overcome. And I was raised by a single mom, and, you know, That's difficult, man. I hate that. And, you know, there's a special place for guys who put their hands on women and physically abuse them. So I definitely understood her pain, and it did make me look at her in a different light, and made me I was going to have a conversation because I still felt her depiction of me was unfair without getting to know me a little bit better. But I wanted to have that conversation with more compassion. You know what I'm saying? So she could hear, so I could hear where she's coming from, and also tell her that I feel for her and I'm on her side, and I want you to I want to be the guy that helps gets that bad taste out of your mouth. Like that bad perspective. I want to be the next guy that makes you feel a certain way for us to leave each other in a positive light, not a negative light.
I hear that. So because obviously I asked this question as well. So the scene where she says to you that she's apologizing on behalf of Adriana. I mean, from what we're watching, I was mad confused. I was so confused, and I was just like, in back of my mind, I'm always hoping that the edit's just mad. I'm just hoping that the edit's mad. But can you just shed a bit more light on that? What happened there that she said she's apologizing on behalf of Adriana? Did something else happen or something like
that? Man, you know what? To be honest and fair to her, that's all I remember her saying that, because we did so much, man. There was so much filming, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. So much filming. Like, some of the stuff that y'all are seeing, I was like, damn, I forgot we did that. I forgot I said that. But yeah, if you could see my face, I was like, what? Huh? Come again? But I didn't want our conversation to get contentious. So I just flowed with it and accepted it, and still wanted to let her speak her piece and me speak mine. You know, it was at the end of that, we squashed it. I forgave her.
Okay.
Yeah, I to this day, I don't have any ill will towards Denise. I think she's a fun girl. She's a little misunderstood, but there's some pain there that she's working on, and I love that. None of us are perfect and completed sculptures, and so we talked it out, and I shared with her how I felt. I told her that I felt what she said was reckless and irresponsible, and I still stand by that to this day. She knows that, though. Yeah. Just to say my name in that same vein, and she said she did not call me a narcissist. She said I have narcissistic traits. Well, to where I'm from, 2 + 2 still equals 4. So what I told her, okay, fine, if that's the case, okay. But my issue is that bad news travels way faster than good news, right?
Yeah.
And now I'm going to have to answer to that, like I'm doing right now, for who knows how long. Because now that's associated, whether you believe it or not. And you said it in a public forum with 10 other ladies who were just getting to know each other. So now you could have shaped their opinion of me. They could be looking at me with a side eye because maybe there's something that you said now, oh, let me look for this. And then going forward, I never want my name associated with that word. I don't care if it's the same sentence, same paragraph, or the same book. Like, that's the thing. Like, I'm able to forgive her for looking at me and triggering stuff, right? I'm able to forgive her for that. And she knows this, and I told her that recently. I love you to death. I wish you nothing but the best. I'm gonna cheer for you, and I hope you get out of life what you want. But I'm still gonna stand by how I felt about that, and that's just where I'm at with it.
I like that, and I appreciate that as well. You showed compassion, and I think a lot of people could really appreciate the fact that you could have popped off if you wanted to. You really could have. You could have gone on one, and you'd have been right for doing that. But you took a more compassionate approach, and I think a lot of people appreciated that from yourself.
That's not in my nature to go off on a female like that anyway. So yeah.
Was there any other attraction between you and Denise, or?
No, she's a beautiful girl. She's gorgeous. And
we're not saying that. No. We know she's gorgeous. I'm saying, was there any attraction between you two? Don't worry about it. She's gorgeous. We know that.
No, in the beginning, yes. That's why I was talking to her at the mixer.
Mm.
But I just knew, I felt her energy towards me. I was like, okay, let me go this way. Because so the bug and the drink thing, let's go ahead and get into that one.
Please, because we were trying to find out what the bug was going on.
Right. So I'm a jokester. Like I said, I don't take myself too serious. Why not? Life is short. And most people know I was joking. I wouldn't want to have her drink a bug in a drink. I was like, oh, don't worry about it, girl. The alcohol will kill that. And then her response to me, like she didn't get the joke or she wasn't get the joke. But now I know why, because I was already kind of triggering something, right? And I saw that energy. Okay. So, all right, cool. So when she says, I'm going to go get me a drink then. When I said, okay, go do your thing, I was leaving the conversation. If you see, I was going to talk to Joy. So when she said that, naturally, yeah, I'm a gentleman. I'm going to go get the drink.
Yep.
Energy was so like, okay, I noticed that. I was like, okay, this is not going to be a good match. So this is a perfect segue for us to end the conversation, right? So that's why I left and went and talked to Joy, but she came back, and then we started picking up the conversation again about where she went to college, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't think it was a huge deal where she just thought I was not, person. So, and then, we talked again, and then, you saw the rest of it. But that's the whole thing about the bug in the drink. Obviously, that was a joke. And for her to go get her own drink, I was leaving. I was going to go elsewhere.
So when you brought the drink back, you put a drink into her hand. Was that a mistiming, or was she really not? Because from our perspective, you can only see the fact that she was looking away from you, and even though it looked like you were putting the drink in her hand, and she was like not trying to pay attention. It looked like that, but I don't know how, from your perspective, how did it look? How was it for you? Because it looked like you were putting a drink in her hand. I don't know.
Yeah, she was talking that way where she was looking, but she didn't know I was going to go get her a drink. Let's be honest. And when I came back, she never kind of looked at me to give her the drink again. And then when she took the drink, I decided to exit stage left again. Because I'm like, okay, nah. So fool me once, I came back a second time. It was like, you know what? There's 9 other women here, so let's just, let's keep it moving.
So for you at that point, did you feel like, and it's not even a big deal, but is that, let's be honest, we're dating. So we're all dating here. We're trying to get to know each other. When that happens, obviously you're going to have more time to get to know the person. But when that happens, is that a turnoff? When that kind of exchange happens for you, is that a turnoff?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100%. I think it was a turnoff for her too. In fairness to her, obviously it was. But I just think some people, you'll get their energy really quick, which is a good thing. Yeah. So there wasn't a whole lot of time wasted. When I was asked about her, I was like, oh yeah, we cool. But nothing romantic. I'm not going to pursue her. We cool though. So I actually like the fact that we figured out that we weren't each other's cup of tea early on, So, I was good with it.
I love that. Now let's deal with some real stuff here. Now we got the Symone situation. Episode 7, we get to see you put your best work at hand. Can I just ask, first of all, was it your choice to put the color scheme together, the card together, everything like that?
Absolutely.
Woo, baby. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all see, did you not see? Listen, the thing was, I thought your trousers were matching. I think the pillows or cushions, something. I said, this brother is out here doing bits, levels. Yeah.
Yeah.
What gave you the inspiration to put that date on?
You know what I'm saying?
What inspired that creation for that date, man? What inspired that?
Because so mind you, I'm a super huge water guy. Love water. And you see, everybody went on a damn water date but me. I'm like, what the hell? I'm on a water date. Like, I love the water. So at that point, I'm like, okay, everybody's done some water stuff. And then, of course, I'm talking to production, trying to figure out some stuff. And, I said, do we have anything with some cars that we can figure out? And so I said that, but then, excuse me, they kind of went from there and found the old school truck. I mean, I didn't have any resources to pull an old school truck out of nowhere. So I'm not going to act like I'm a magician. But they did that, and then we set it all up and then put the rose petals, and it was a vibe.
Jeez, bro, it was wavy. I ain't gonna lie to you. From one brother to another brother, but I saw the effort, I saw the work rate. You know what I'm saying? I said, listen, if you're a lady, and I'll probably hopefully get Symone on. I'm sure she'll be able to tell us how she felt because it looks sublime. You know what I mean? It looks sublime. Oh, that's right, bro. You was a level, man. You gotta be appreciated for that question because the ladies have been asking me. So Adriana let us know that obviously the guys had a little pact between themselves. So obviously, in terms of approaching, it was more women approaching the men, right? It felt like that at times. I don't know if you want to speak to that as to why the men potentially, allegedly, would have been less forward in pursuing the women on the show.
I don't think it was as bad as some of the ladies may feel, but then I'm not a female from that perspective, so I gotta be fair to that. But all the guys, we were super cool. It was kind of a bro code type thing, and girls was like, "Yo, forget this bro code stuff. Y'all are too cool. Like y'all are not not afraid of like we were kind of afraid to step on each other's toes." But we all dated, like me and Kofani. We dated Adriana. I had no ill will towards Kofani. Me and Kofani was working out in the morning. We was running, getting it in. Like, it is what it is. Like, most of the guys, we didn't have that type of component. We just built a little different. And that's kind of what happened there. But it's interesting when Adriana called me her man in the group, right?
Okay.
Me and her talking at the pool, the guys aren't approaching me, this, that, and the third. And I was like, because they feel that me and you already booed up. And I was like, you know what? I don't know why that is, because it's just kind of guys don't want to step on each other's toes. This is before I heard what she said. So and of course it's gonna get out. So then we talked again. I said, oh, wait a minute. You're talking about why guys ain't approaching you because you called me your man. So why they gonna approach you now? So we had a good laugh about that. She said, "Oh yeah, I forgot about that." So, but yeah, guys, we just moved different. It's not like we weren't being aggressive, but we were just fine. We didn't want to come in and necessarily interrupt, but we found ways to let the ladies know we was feeling them. But they wanted a little more overt, which I can't blame them.
Hands on,
yeah,
more hands on.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand that. So obviously, I don't know the edit look. So people asked, the audience were asking me to ask you. So at the time when Symone obviously comes to ask you, they were asking, why didn't you ask Symone if you wanted a date? Like you said that you wanted a date, and they were wondering how come you didn't ask her first. I don't know if that's the edit. I don't know if that's the show how they did it. But from your perspective, why did it seem to play out that way? I mean, I don't think anything wrong with women asking men on a date, but hey.
No, it was cool. No, actually, no. When I said I've been wanting to go on a date with her, I expressed that to her that we were trying to get together for a date all before that. But just dates that already had lined up, production. We had to wait on a certain pecking order of how they were going to put together your date. So me and Symone had already talked about going on a date together. So yeah, absolutely. She knew I wanted to go on a date with her, and I told her, I'm gonna make it happen. And it didn't happen in the time when we wanted to. So, but you see, it finally happened, and it came out good. But yeah, like I said, I'm a traditionalist. I'm gonna ask a woman out 99.9% of the time.
I love that. And obviously, so with your dating with Symone, obviously as well. What was the kind of qualities that you found in Symone that attracted you to her? Because obviously, I thought she blacklisted herself when she the Jay stuff. When she said to Jay and said, "Listen," when she was sitting in front of Jay and Joy, and when she interrupted their conversation and said what she said, I thought she might have been blacklisted by the guys. What made you decide that Symone is at that point in time ready to love for you, or at least have a connection with her?
Well, if you see, I didn't get any of that from Symone. Like I guess I know how to tame Symone. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know how to handle Symone. Symone is a firecracker, man, but she likes leadership, and she'll tell you that. Like, that's just what it was. I just think my personality was like, I let her be herself, but also I guess I don't know. You would have to ask her, but I think it was a, I don't know. It was just kind of a respect level that she had for me that I didn't judge her. Because like I said, we're not all perfect sculptures at the end of the day. But if you see an interaction, I didn't get none of that stuff. I got the Southern Belle, sweet, kind, soft, vulnerable Symone, which is dope. As y'all see how cool she and dope she can be. I think she just has to be comfortable with you to give you that side. And I was able to make her comfortable. So I was able to tame the
my guy.
The whatever everybody else sees,
The game.
Yeah.
I love that, man. I said I tamed that. Okay, I love that. I love that as well. I think obviously watching you two, it was good to kind of see your interaction, because I think we saw Symone's interaction with Jay, but it was very brief. We saw, I think we didn't see if anybody else. We saw the David interaction, etc. But I think it's the first time we got to see her a bit more vulnerable, other than what happened with the girls was with yourself. And I think we got to see a more, like I said, vulnerable side, a more open side of her with yourself on that date. Obviously, one thing that obviously blows my mind is it seemed like if you were the only person aside Jay, because he had in the top 3 until a certain point, how did she not end up out? I'm confused. Who else was liking her?
Well,
I'm trying to find out.
So how it works is we sit and talk to Tommy and tell them who's in our levels, and most of us had maybe 3. I had 3 for the whole show until they started getting eliminated. And if you're in there and enough people say it, because other people said Symone, obviously Jay was off Symone shortly after their incident, which he said there. And then other than that, it was kind of towards the end when you're promoting, like when you're talking about who's going home, then it's also more about their interactions that they're having with others and, how they're treating others and stuff like that. So with that being said, you got to fight for the one you want to stay. You got to fight in there and have enough just cause for them to stay. And I think I was able to express that to Tommy. And when I said I want her around for another week, if possible, give me that. In a perfect world, I'd love to have that. And it happened to work out that way. So
I love that. Yeah. I love that. So you felt like you had a genuine connection with Symone.
Yeah, for sure.
What would you say was? Where do you feel like you and Symone really connected? What was making you guys connect?
Aside from the physical, obviously we know she's beautiful and things of that nature. And I'm a simple sexual man. I like intelligent women. And for us to talk about, I know she's Ivy League educated, and we were talking and we were getting deep and talking about stuff below, like other than surface level stuff. Like how many kids you want, like where you want to live, like stuff like that. What do you like, more like deep stuff? And she's able to share some of the things she went through when she's in college and trying to go through law school and stuff like that. So we just hit it off on a personal level, and it was cool. She shared a lot with me.
I love that, man. I love that. Obviously, Symone's in the comment section, just to let you know, mate. She's out here saying she's out here saying you're making her tear up and stuff. You get me?
Oh, but I'm talking to you, and then next thing you know, Rashid's cockeyed.
Don't worry, read it, bro. Go through. I guess our last part of the section, we've got to talk about the couch situation with Nia, because I think people want to know.
Yeah.
People want to know, Rashid, how did we get here that you're now talking to a couch? Please explain your version of events.
Man, without giving away too much, because you'll see more on the reunion. But first of all, I'll say this: Nia is my dog. Like, she is so freaking cool. Like, I swear, this is not cap. This is not hyperbole. Like, she is the homie. Like, for real, she's so fun to be with. Like, in real life. like real life. But Nia was over being there. She was just over it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
She was over it. She's ready to go. And some people had that. Some people had cabin fever, ready to go. And you never know how that's going to manifest in each individual person. Some people shut down. Some people just go off, just kind of the whole deal. And when that happened, she didn't want that label to be placed on her that she was not ready to love. Right? And I get that. She said, no, I'm not ready to love anyone here at this moment, right? But she didn't want that to be associated with her not being ready to love, right? So that's where her reaction came from, right? And then, but we weren't done doing that filming of that part, and she was ready to leave, and production was calling her back, and then that's when she said, "I'm not coming back to do that again."
We're done.
You talk to the couch. I follow directions. I can listen. Men talk about men don't listen. I listen. She told me to talk to the couch, so I turned my ass and talked to the couch.
Okay, so it wasn't
no cap. Nia's so dope. Like she bought some of my clothing. Like she's cool. Nia's so fun.
Do you so I'm gonna probably put you in a bit more of an impossible situation. I gotta ask a question because Chris be your boy, Nia be your girl. So I gotta ask that question. From us as an audience perspective, we are watching Nia, and I think Nia's in the chat, so I'll say it so she knows. We're watching it from a perspective. I think she was here for a short while anyway. And we're watching it and we're like, the whole Chris situation. Yeah, 1 minute, you're here, the next minute you're there. Obviously, we hear your opinion in the tavern on the show. We hear you say about how the guys felt a certain type of way about the Nia situation. So before you've gone to say the delivery about Ready to Love to Nia, how did the guys feel about the Nia situation? And if you can't say it due to bro code, I can understand. How did you feel?
Well, obviously, what I expressed, you saw on screen. I was disappointed. That's all, because I knew, because they didn't see that part of it. So give you, I don't know if the other guests have told you that, kind of give you a behind the curtains. Like at home when we're watching this show, like when they're in Tavi's Tavern, it's the first time we're seeing this. Like we're not in there with them. So this is the first time we're seeing this. This is the first time we're seeing the confessionals when the guys and the girls are by themselves, because we're by ourselves. This is the first time we're seeing this. So yeah, we get little bits and pieces. We hear rumors about what was said, but the first time, so we're just like, whoa, same way y'all are at home. So yeah, Chris was damn near ready to get married. Like Chris,
he was invested.
Yeah.
Love it.
He said he must charge her rent because she's living in his head.
That was beautiful. Love that.
I felt my man there. Like I felt him there. So, excuse me, having been married and knowing what finances can play and how they can play negatively in a relationship, I felt that the conversation needed to go a little deeper than. And again, I wasn't on their date with him. I don't know what all was said, but from my perspective at the time, sometimes your perception is your reality. So my perception, the fact that I think she X'd him out a little too soon, and I would like to give him a chance to kind of talk to her in private, like at the table at that time when he tried to talk. I don't think that was a good spot for them to talk. I just wish that she would have been open to a conversation with him, and that's what I said at the time. But now knowing, her even better, I know where she was. I know she was. She didn't mean it in that regard, but that's just how I felt at the time.
I understand that. I mean, obviously, hopefully we'll get to have a conversation with herself and also with Chris, and we can get their individual perspectives. I kind of want just to kind of see your perspective, because obviously, like you said, from a boy watching your boy, what I'm saying, even if and obviously Nia is also your people's as well, it can be very hard to be able to see that happening, because you see both of them are great people and you want them to be able to, try and make it work at best, especially from our perspective as an audience. We were seeing it like
absolutely. Somebody said no such thing as too soon. Is that Nia?
Nia's in the chat. I don't know. She's definitely in the chat. I saw her name there. That's what I'm going to say.
That's my girl.
So I can understand your perspective on that. And obviously, as you're watching it, okay, let's say you're watching it back yourself now. You're seeing the confessional.
Oh shit! Hold on, my TV just turned on. Hold on.
Oh, you got on the smart TVs, yeah?
Yeah, noise in the background. Hold
on. Oh man. I said Alexis, He'll be back, people.
All right, my bad. Here I am.
No way.
My bad. Sorry. All right, go ahead. What was you saying?
So yeah, obviously, yes. So obviously, watching those two, obviously, I can understand your alliance being pulled on both sides. When you're watching it back from the audience perspective, what is your thoughts? Because let me just be honest, and I'm gonna get Nia on here so she already knows. When you're watching it, the confessional, I got a boyfriend, at home already. I'm sure you heard about the kiss of Edwin, and then obviously with the christening. I know it's not all in complete linear situation, but when you're watching it, like, does something inside of you be like, that ain't great? That's not how I expect relationships to go.
With the Nia, Chris, and Edwin.
Yeah, the Nia, Chris, Edwin situation, and then the confession at the end, because that's what I think most of us are looking at. We're like, the confession was a bit more.
Oh, okay. Well, one, it wasn't an immediate switch to Edwin. In defense, she was dating Edwin as well. Okay, so just people know that she was dating Edwin as well. She didn't just switch to him. And I think when she left, is that what you're talking about? When she said, "I'm not feeling nobody." I think when she left, you would have to ask her, but I think when she left, she was just like, she was over it, and she was just, how we get going and you just talking. I think she was flowing. She was in a zone, and she's like, yo, I'm finna leave this. I'm finna set this MF off. So I just think it was on one of them. She said, I'm just about to, I don't really think she genuinely meant that, but I could be wrong. I have to ask her.
That's calm. Okay, I'll leave the Nia situation because obviously she'll have to answer that herself. For you yourself, what was the best experience up until episode 7? Please don't say anything that'll get us into trouble. Up until episode 7.
I know, dude.
You know what's like? Up until episode 7, what would you say is your most memorable moment on the show?
Most memorable moment for me on the show. Man, will probably be my date with Symone.
Okay. Listen, let me just say this now for you guys. This guy is putting in work. I don't know if he's using my channel to get to Symone. I don't know what's going on. No. Let's pause it right there, because he's been using me all this thing. Symone, I need you to contact him. If you don't contact him already, I need you to message him. Okay. So the date with Symone was your memorable moment. Why was that your memorable moment?
Because we both got to get deep. We like surface, below the surface, man. And I just like to get to, like I said, I like to talk to people. And I got to know her deeper, and I was able to share some stuff that I don't share with everybody. So that was cool. That's a memorable conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like when you just meet somebody at a bar for 15 minutes and you get their number, you don't remember that. Like you remember when you go out and have something, something of depth to talk about. So that, and of course, me and Nia's situation. That was funny.
It was good comedy. What would you say that you wish? Obviously, there was a lot of stuff that probably weren't put on the show. What moment was there that you wish that probably we had seen? Could be of yourself, it could be of just actual show. What moment do you wish that was on there?
Have seen?
Oh, that you haven't seen on there yet.
I haven't seen.
That you wish it was on there.
Again, I don't know what they're about to show. That's another thing. We don't know what's coming up, but I know to where we're at now. If I back up what they haven't shown, oh man, that's a good question. I guess the fact that I was interacting with all the ladies. And a lot of people, the narrative is that my nose was wide open for Adriana. Like, my number, she was at my top, but I was dating and talking and having conversations and with multiple women.
Okay.
So that's all good. It's all good now. They've chosen. So
I've got to ask you the Nordstrom situation. I've got to ask, what was that about? Because obviously that the way they chopped it obviously made it look like my guy is out here just shopping in very expensive places for PJs.
Yeah, just
explain that situation to us, bro.
Yeah. I'm like, who leads with that? Who says that? Like, hey, guess what, guys? I know I go to Nordstrom to get my pajamas. Like, come on, stop. Like, it was so funny. So the story behind that, right? Okay, so if some people still think that we're in Houston, first of all, Houston has not one mountain. We're the flattest city in the freaking world. That's why you always see Houston on the news at least once a year that we're flooding, right? So we're in a resort in North Georgia on the South Carolina border, right? Beautiful, in the Blue Ridge Mountains, right? Not the same place where season 2 went, by the way. So there was a hurricane that was about to hit Houston, Louisiana, right? So I don't remember the exact date. Let's say we're supposed to leave to go to Atlanta, to fly into Atlanta on a Thursday, right?
Okay.
But that's when the hurricane was supposed to hit. So then production hits us up like, yo, can you get out of town now? Right? This is like a Tuesday, okay? Can you get out of town now? Mind you, let me rewind. On that, let's say that Monday, I hear from production, do you have any pajamas? You may possibly shoot slumber party theme or something with pajamas theme. Like, hell no, I don't own no damn pajamas. I'm a hooper now. I sleep in some basketball shorts and a wife beater or no shirt. Like, I don't wear pajamas in bed. Like, so I know the one place where I can go to get pajamas that fits me, again, because I'm 6'6". Everybody knows if you're my height, you know the stores that carry your stuff and people that don't. I get my shoes from there because they carry my size. I wear a 14 or a 15 size shoe. Like, that's my store. So anyway, I still didn't leave with that. But we're chilling, right? We're around hanging out. I don't think that we're filming. So I asked the group of people that were sitting around. So, so I was able to leave. Okay, let me. So I was able to leave because I was 95% packed, right? So when they called me to try to get on a plane, guess where I was? I was in the middle of Nordstrom's buying the pajamas that they suggested that I bring.
Oh.
So then when we get to there, we're all talking about our experiences. So I'm thinking we're breaking right now. We're just chilling. So I ask everybody, I posed the question like, where were you when? You know those kind of questions? Like, where were you guys when you got the call to try to get out of town? Because some people didn't make it. Some people did make it. Like Chris made it. Raymond made it. Sam made it. Denise made it. Adriana, we all flew together. And that was funny too. That was weird. If we have time, I'll tell you about that. Because we weren't able to speak to anybody. We weren't able to look at each other. So anyway, I asked them, where were y'all when y'all got the call to get out of town? And everybody was staring. Like KG was like, man, I was at the station, man. I had clothes in the cleaner. I had to do this. And then they asked me. And I was like, I was in the middle of Nordstrom's buying pajamas. That's how that whole thing, that's how that happened.
They got you good. They smoked you out.
But I'm cool with it. I love Nordstrom. So Nordstrom's, if you're listening, hit your boy up. Let's get it. Like, that's my story.
I mean, don't leave me out. Don't leave me out. Whatever that is. I don't know what it is, but don't leave me out.
Yeah. But it was like I was leading with that. That's pretentious. I would never lead with that. But I'm not going to make anybody feel better. I like Nordstrom. But no, that's the context in what that was brought up.
I love that. I think I've got one more situation to talk about. Yeah. The Shay situation. Her dancing and everyone was like, I don't know what's going on, bro. Like, why is she doing the thing that she's doing? What was your perspective of the scenario? Like, I'm guessing she was drinking too much, but what was your perspective of the situation?
Yeah, I don't know if she was drinking too much. You'd have to ask her that, but we were all drinking. You know?
Nah.
We were all drinking, so she was feeling something.
You say you don't know if she was drinking. That's it.
No, I don't know if we were drinking too much. We were all drinking for sure. Like if you see, every episode we got wine in our hands, and we had this big bar set up. We had hard liquor and stuff, and there was nothing else to do but film and drink, film, drink, eat, film, drink, eat, like or work out. But no, another cool one. Like so much fun, and we were just having a fun moment, and it was cool. I actually don't remember that confessional when I was laughing and I didn't have any words. I don't remember that, and I was just laughing just with everybody else. I do not remember that at all. But nah, Shay, we were just having fun. That was so funny though. I didn't know that they were going to show that. But, yeah, Shay's another super cool girl.
They wanted me to ask you, is there anything that you can share about the tavern with the boys to the audience? Because obviously we only saw little clips, but they want to know. They asked me to ask you, was there anything that happened in a tavern that you can share with them in terms of what the man them were discussing? You get me?
Man. That's a good question, man. We had a lot of fun with Tommy. I'll tell you this. Tommy was dropping some jewels, bro. Tommy is so wise. You know, he's been with his wife over 30 years, or 30 years just together. And I'll never forget, he told us how his wife held him down, bro. Like he told, I actually asked the question, actually. I was like, how did you meet Steve? How did you get involved with Steve Harvey? And he told me how they're such good friends. And I'll give you kind of a summarized version best I can, what he said. But he went to Prairie View A&M University. Shout out to HBCU Prairie View's here, right outside of Houston. And he is my frat. He is a Kappa. He is light skinned. Now let me stop.
But you know how you said, no way. Is he tall? He ain't tall though. That's the thing.
No, he's not tall. So Tommy is a real live thespian. Tommy went to school for drama. He didn't just fall into this. He went to school for drama, right? And him and his wife were dating at the time. And he told his wife he wanted to pursue a career in show business, right? She was making money. He was a starving artist trying to get it. And she held him down through that process. She was his support system. She encouraged him to go out to LA. And meanwhile, man, I'll say this. I'm sorry. I knew Tommy as a teenager. I was 19 years old. I've known Tommy.
That's good because they thought that you were his son. I don't know what's going on in this chat. The girls here, they still think his son or something.
No. So long story short, my aunt used to own a comedy club here in Houston called Just Joking Comedy Club. One of the biggest in the city back then. It's no longer around. But when I used to come home from college, I used to work for her there. So sometimes I'd be the runner. I go pick up the people from the hotel, bring them back to the show. They do their set. Well, Tommy was always there because he's a Houstonian. So I knew Tommy then, right? So anyway, during that, he was doing jokes at Just Joking Comedy Club and trying to get on in other places, right? And then I think he's working a little side hustle job. And his girlfriend was making decent money. So she encouraged him to go out to LA. He was sleeping with 4 or 5 other comedians on the floor. That whole story, that hard luck story, trying to get it. And then he had met some guy and he talked about how he said, I'm going to, oh, shit. Sorry. Like, whoa, it's a long story. I don't want to, but man, dude. So how it happened, I'm sorry. This is what happened.
That's right. Go for it.
Holding him down. She was the one that put the battery in his back to go get it. Sometimes we just need that sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And she did that, and he somehow he was Luther Vandross's opening act, bro, as a comedian. I was blown. Like, who knew that Luther had a comedian open up for him, right? Damn. So what happened was, he's telling us all in the tavern, there was a guy that was Luther's opening act, and he got sick, the guy. Somehow or another, I can't connect the dots, Tommy got put on the tour. Luther loved him. Tommy goes on the tour with him. They're all over the world touring with Luther Vandross. Because he kept saying Luther. I'm like, Luther? Luther's an R&B legend. How the hell are you with Luther and you're a comedian? But he said, yeah, Luther Vandross. So what happened was the tour ended. Luther came back. Luther was like, hey, I'm going to do another album and we're going to go on the road again. At that time, Luther never did his next album because Luther passed. Right? But while he's waiting on Luther to do his album, he goes to LA and gets a call from somebody. He's like, hey, I'm going to try to get you on Steve Harvey show or something. I'm going to bring you on with Steve. Come here at 5:30. He was like, 5:30, okay, cool. No, 5:30 in the morning. He shows up, does the Nephew Tommy with Steve Harvey, and kills it, and they love him, and the rest is history, right? So then he brings that all back to his wife, and after that, he said, my wife has never have to work a day in her life ever again. I give her whatever house she want, whatever car she want, whatever, she's taken care of because she took care of me and held me down. And man, that hit home and resonated with all the fellas, man. So that was super dope for him to struggle and go through it and never forget where he came from. And he stayed with the girl that stayed down with him. And now she's ripping the benefits of it, man. They got a great relationship. So that's my story from tavern stuff.
I appreciate it. I think they wanted more tea, but I don't think you can spill it to this without getting in trouble. Is there anything that you want the audience, this last question, is there anything that you want the audience to know about the show? They're still asking if you ended up, he can't explain if he ended up with Symone. He can't tell us. He's not.
Questions real quick. What's the question that we didn't answer? I can't tell you that one.
Listen, there's a lot of them you can't tell us that because they would mean legal stuff for all of us.
Right.
Let's see what they said. So who's smashing at the resort? Listen, we can't tell you.
No, Tommy, and no, he just got the name Nephew Tommy. They're not related.
We can't tell you stuff. The questions you guys are asking, we can't say half the stuff we're saying, guys. Yeah, it's legals. All right, nobody wants to get sued out here. You know what I mean?
So what you asked me, brother? The last thing.
So I guess last thing, I guess for you.
Anything I want to say?
Yeah, was anything you want to say? Let the audience know anything. Oh, someone to say, what is your type of woman? That was it. They said, what is your type of woman?
I like
your usual type.
I like a woman who is confident, very caring, smart, intelligent, well-read, likes to travel, and super into family because, I mean, it's all like if I love kids, I have a son, I want more kids, so I want a woman who wants kids. I got to hurry up, though. I'm getting older. I want more kids, but and then someone who has my back and, someone who will not tell me everything I want to hear, though, too. Because I think it's good to have a yin and yang in a relationship. Sometimes I can pull you out of your comfort zone and you can pull me out of mine. Or if I'm getting too far left, you can kind of reel me back in and I can do the same. So that's more so, man, just a good partner that we have like-minded goals and we're pulling in the same direction.
I appreciate it.
Fine and beautiful. And that comes in different forms. So, And I like a woman who dresses well. I love a woman who dresses well. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh, she needs to because you're gonna be making these dates the way you are, bro. She's gonna need to dress.
Man, I hope I'm not held to that standard for the rest of my life, man. That was
it's done, bro. You can't go below that level, bro. Forever. You get me? I guess obviously my last thing is a random question now. Guys, we're coming to the end, so we're winding up. Last question, it's a random question.
Somebody said I see what Denise was saying.
Don't worry about that person, they're trolling.
No, bro, like I said, it's all good.
You know how they be. Yeah. Last question for you. Do you put the milk in first or do you put the cereal in first?
Cereal always.
Bro, listen, you're the weird one out, bro. I don't know if you know that.
My auto winner.
You're the weird one out, bro. Most people put the milk in first.
Stop it.
I'm being serious, bro.
No way.
Really serious. I'm only kidding. No, you don't. You should put the cereal first. But yes, guys. I want to thank you guys. Is there anything else you want to plug? You want to plug something? Please plug your YouTube. Plug also your clothing brand. Plug the luxury cars. Let them know where they can find yourself.
Oh, appreciate it, man. On my Instagram and Twitter, I'm Rashid _ the Car God. And check out my YouTube channel. I do have a YouTube channel. Right now I'm replaying a lot of my season 1. I had 10 episodes of season 1. It's called Car Gods, CARGAWDS. And I give you kind of a sneak peek behind the scenes of how my car brokering process works. And I do some cool interviews with some cool people. And it's kind of like it's a car version of $1 Million Listing, if you all are familiar with that type of reality TV. So that's cool. Check that out. Tell me what you think. Again, that's on YouTube, Car Gods. And then my clothing line is Nelson Barquet Clothing. That's my Instagram for that is NB, as in NB, Nelson Barquet _clothing. And the website is nelsonbarquet.com. And I've got some new stuff. I've got some stuff for ladies and men, some unisex stuff. So, I thank for everybody for the support, and I thank for everybody for the non-support. I appreciate you guys as well. But I appreciate everybody that's been reaching out. I try to get back to you guys as much as possible. I'm loving the show just like you guys, and I appreciate you all. And y'all keep watching and keep giving me your feedback. It's been pretty entertaining.
Appreciate that. Oh, did I put something else there? My bad. I've got these questions there. My bad.
Yeah. Somebody said they paid for their question, man, and
I don't know what the question was. I didn't even see the question, so I don't know what question they've actually asked. So I guess they're gonna have to find me later on to ask it. But guys, I want to thank you guys for joining. Do you know what, bro? You've been amazing. Okay.
Appreciate it, man.
The chat has also been amazing. I don't know, bro. As we've been talking, bro, I've been just looking at
cereal first. Thank you.
I saw so many people. It was Adriana. I saw Alexis from last season. I'm seeing Nia come in the chat. I saw Symone in the chat. There's a few people in this chat. You know what I mean? So you guys, they've enjoyed, and that's because of you, bro. Yeah.
Ah, man, I don't do that, man. That's you, dog.
Wait. What shoe size are you again?
15.
My God, have mercy. Let's end it on that, guys. He's a size 15 in shoe. You know what Nia said, guys. I appreciate you. Stay locked and stay loaded. We're gonna have some more stuff. We've got Symone coming this weekend. So, guys, back to back, baby, back to back.
I gotta come back, man. I loved it, man. I gotta come back after.
Listen, please. We need to have you back after reunion because I'm sure there's some stuff that probably went down. So, yeah,
all hang out.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So, guys, thank you so much. Appreciate you, man. Guys, we're going to see you soon. They're making a joke about 15 size shoe. All right, guys, we appreciate you staying.